Good morning.
Good morning. Where is my camera? Here we go.
How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you, Ben?
I'm really good. Yeah. You're looking sprightly for 7:30 in the morning.
Well, about half. That's why I have the hat on. So
Oh, okay.
I'm trying.
So you got to take your daughter to school. You say soon, yeah?
I will take her at 8:30, so in an hour.
Oh, okay. And when do you guys start your school? Do you not have a summer break?
They literally just went back this week, starting Monday.
Oh, okay. So what do you break up earlier than us? When do you break? When do the kids break up for the holidays?
I think it's different everywhere. Like on the West Coast, that's where my son is, and because my ex was military, he goes to school after Labor Day, and then here they go back like midsummer, like mid-August. I feel horrible for them, but at least they get in class. Are your kids actually like in school?
Yeah, I've got two sons now who are at college.
Oh wow.
And I have my daughter, and she over the last like 2 years, because of all the bullshit, we've had so much like coming back and being out of school, then being in school, like you say. So at the moment, she's supposed to be going back in about 10 days' time. But I mean, they're talking about this, are having different certain rules and things, and I don't agree with a lot of that stuff. So we're looking at possibly going down the homeschooling route because a lot of things that are coming in here in the UK, I'm not necessarily agreeing with. But I'm not putting my political hat on here.
Right.
You know,
No, I think we're like a lot the same in a lot of ways like that. Same. There's a lot of crap here too. So just
I
like we
saw
got to do what we can do.
I saw one of your videos of going into a restaurant. I won't elaborate, but I share that same philosophy. When you went into the restaurant, and I smiled when I saw that, because I just think we've not stuck to those rules since the beginning. Do you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, to me, it's a no-go. So there we go.
Roommates
Um,
can even come here to the US. I didn't even realize that, but like anyone from England, we won't even let in.
yeah, I just think it's gone absolutely crazy. And the States is one of my favorite places. I've traveled around a lot. I love Florida and the Keys and the West Coast, San Diego and places. And of course, now it's not going to be happening. So for the foreseeable future, I've got a camper van, a VW camper. So I like kind of just tour around and just hang out on the beaches here at the minute. And
That's so dope.
that's just like what we're doing. But the weather in the UK is not the best. We have a lot of rain.
I've heard that.
So yeah, okay. So first of all, it's great to chat with you. I think our paths have crossed with Lumenswap. I noticed you've got the t-shirt on there. It's great to see you've got the merch going on already. It's for me. I'm a relative noob really to the whole Stellar ecosystem. My journey began in 2017 in the spring, and I found that loads of my friends were wanting to get into crypto, but they were getting scammed and they were falling into a lot of these traps. You know what I mean? That are still there now, but they've just kind of evolved, haven't they? The scammers have evolved. But so I developed Bullring Crypto, which was like an educational platform on Facebook to help people not fall into those pitfalls. So for me, I kind of went into crypto in an educational sense to try and help friends and those people in my network not get scammed, and to be able to buy some Bitcoin and transfer into other tokens and coins. And then I kind of like fell out of love really, because I got up to more than 100,000 in a portfolio in the bull run of 2017.
Oh,
And then woohoo,
yeah.
so so to get that sort of I've never had that kind of sort of wealth. To get that sort of wealth and then for it to go like that quick was a massive lesson. So again, there was more lessons there. Then we had the bear market, and then last year I kind of fell in love with DeFi. The whole explosion of DeFi, and that led me once again to try and help more people understand some of the basics. My education has never been at a deep level right, to, you know, the technicalities of, you know, the coding and that kind of level. It's been at a level that's been sent to no coiners and people that are not in crypto. Here's some stepping stones to kind of move in gradually into the space, you know, have some security, be aware of the scams, have some different assets, and kind of move. So then I moved into the DeFi. So for me, Stellar was not really anything until 2021, at the early part of 2021, when I kind of really came across, you know, the whole kind of family, really, isn't it? With XRP, and there's Algo, and there's a whole kind of family of different projects that all interlink. And I mean, that in itself was such a deep dive to kind of go into and work out what the heck is going on. And I'm still a student in that now. So I'm happy to learn off many different people and try and gather more information on that whole side of things that's happening. So Stellar wasn't really for me, but then I've always been really, really keen on great projects that are going to be front runners on different networks. So, you know, when we look at, say, PancakeSwap on BSC, or we look at Uniswap on ETH, you know, these kind of AMMs, these swaps that are going to be the go-to swaps on different networks, that's always piqued my interest. I've always had a affiliation with some of the exchange tokens. I mean, BNB, I was in BNB at like $2.50. You know, went up to 600. Yeah. So I was talking to my community saying, look, you need to be in exchange tokens, because as these exchanges blow up, the token price is going to appreciate, and you're going to make some serious gains. So yeah, that was back, like I say, in 2017 when Binance launched. So yeah, you know, I've always been interested in these kind of swaps and exchanges. And I just think now, you know, we're in a really cool place. Our paths have crossed because of Lumenswap, and Lumenswap is there to be one of the front runners, not necessarily the only front runner, but one of the front runners on Stellar. And I just think it's a match made in heaven with the transaction speed, the low gas costs, and all of the other stuff. So that's a little bit of an introduction really from me and kind of my history. Talk to me, Jen, about like kind of how did you fall into all of this? And
so my story, obviously, I'm not an educator, and I'm going to be following your Facebook page. I don't like to use Facebook much, but for the purpose of following you and being able to learn something new, since it sounds like you break things down for like normal people like me who are not overly tech nerds, I'm definitely gonna check that out. I think that's so dope. I was a 2017 crypto baby too. So I FOMO'd in summer of like 2017, and I remember Bitcoin being at its all-time high, but I didn't know that because I never looked at a chart. I was like, shit, it's going, I'm gonna be a millionaire, right? Like putting in a couple $100. I don't know. Either way, I lost it. And I've learned I've only lost it because I've sold it. However, it did teach me to keep an eye on the cycles, right? And then I think it was 2019 is when I actually really started to peek at it again, because I think I got a little PTSD from it as well.
yeah,
I think that's why a lot of Bitcoin maxis are maxis, because I think a lot of them went to altcoins and lost their asses during that whole 2017 crash. So yeah, I just started watching it again. And the first ones that I really got into, and I think it's because I was using Coinbase, right? And I liked that they were accessible and cheap. And that was XLM and XRP. So to start getting them early in 2019, I mean, I can't believe that XLM is still only at the price point that it is when it has more transactions on the Stellar network every single day than any other network. So I think that I'm very bullish on it. I love it. But just knowing what it got up to a few months ago, I mean, I really like it. I think that it may overtake XRP at one point. But I do love XRP as well. That's just a lot of patience. That's my bag I don't mess with. And then I'm like you, I like the ISO 20022 altcoins and everything. You know, I like Quant, HBAR, Algo, I like XTC, all those. I also like a lot of shitcoins. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like a degenerate. I'll get on my lobster while I'm like, but you know what? It is what it is. It's all like a learning curve. So I love to observe and everything. And yeah, I mean, I'm going nowhere. I'm down this XLM rabbit hole. I think it's the most interesting network. Um, but yeah, and so I'm on Clubhouse a lot. I have learned more on Clubhouse in the past 6 months than I have on my own in the past few years, trying to do my own research. And that's just, so many people from all over the world throw ideas around, or, they mention something. And I just got on Twitter in March. Crypto Twitter is the best thing. I can't stay off of it because, like when it's 3 a.m. here and you just can't sleep and you're feeding your little habit, like just get on those tweets. But I love it. I love the crypto community, everything. So, and I'm so happy to, be here with you. The AMA you did was awesome in Clubhouse. Thank you for coming in to do that. I know we had a bunch of misinformation, a little bit of that kind of caused an issue for Lumenswap, and I'm happy that you've come in to kind of clear that up a little bit, and whatever we could do with that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it's excitement, isn't it? Yourself, and like you're talking about FOMOing into projects. We're seeing such a rapid growth where I think people initially saw there was going to be this project on Stellar, and we've got the Protocol 18 coming, the DeFi coming to Stellar, and there was so much, and we extracted bits of information according to what we actually fit with our worldview. And then it was like, oh, maybe that's a little bit wrong, but who cares? We're kind of so excited. And it doesn't matter. I mean, now we're at a position where we've settled down in the price. We've started to be able to build. And yeah, I think the future is great. So all of that's, even though it's, we love it. We love to see these big price hikes. When I see those charts, I think this is not sustainable. We're not going to keep going up like this. And everyone's like, come on, we're, keep going. And I'm more of a realist where I think, look, we're going to come down as fast as we've gone up, but then we're going to hit a price floor, and then we're going to be able to incrementally increase in price as we develop the project. And that's what we'll be doing at Lumenswap. So just to finish off our kind of introduction, I've actually written a couple of questions, fun questions for people to get to know us a little bit better. Okay, so my fun fact, you have to think of a fun fact about yourself, right, while I'm telling you mine. So my fun fact is, I used to be in the guards, so the guys that stand outside Buckingham Palace with the big hats on. Yeah.
What?
That's what I used to do. So like, yeah, I did that. As now I would never go into the military, but yes, I was in the guards with the red tunic and the big hat standing outside Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace and all of those kind of things. So that's my fun fact. Have you got anything fun, anything that kind of stands out? You have one question I have for you. You have Brow Guru on your Twitter. What exactly does this, because like some of us blokes over here in the UK are kind of still living in a cave. What does that Brow Guru mean? Is it to do with eyebrows, or am I missing something?
Yes, no, actually it's exactly what it sounds like. I was so distracted by, okay, listen, I can answer that, but I need to know one thing. Did people actually come up to you and like do the like make faces and like try to get you to...
Yeah, the Japanese are the worst, followed by the Americans. We used to have people come up, truthfully, people come up to us, right, and say, we want you on our family's like Thanksgiving card. So they used to have the whole family like surrounding you, and there was always like some kids that were like pulling on your tunic or, trying to nudge you, and this to make you laugh. And when people say, how do you stand there for 2 hours and not laugh? I think because there's that many people that come up to you and try and make you laugh, it gets so tedious. You're like, oh my God, not another family. And of course, the Americans and the Japanese, probably the biggest tourist groups in London. So there was always, we had all sorts of things, girls putting their numbers in your like belt and, loads of crazy stuff.
What was the training like for that? I'm curious. Did you have training, or was it just like, listen, if you laugh, it's off with your head?
That is a good American kind of view of it. Like we're still lopping people's heads off in the Tower of London. But no, we've kind of evolved a little bit from there. We used to do a lot of practice in terms of like what's called drill. So drilling is like, you probably know it from your ex being military, you say, but like drilling is all to do with the marching and like, you know, how you hold weapons, etc. So we did a lot of that stuff. But then, you know, you kind of go out a little bit green. So you go out with however, you know, you never do it until you do it. If we're at St. James's Palace, for example, where they used to have a public post, the public could come right up to you. If you're at Buckingham Palace has a gate, like gates, so that public can only come within about 30 meters. So you imagine, like at Tower of London, they can come, and St. James's Palace, they can come right into your face, like right close to you. So, you know, you don't prepare for that until you do it. And then you're thinking, okay, like I just have to stand here. If someone touches you, you can defend yourself, but I have to basically stand here and listen to all this stuff. You know, that's going. So it's a good old mind twister.
I mean, the guards were probably the only ones who were happy during the pandemic when they had to stay 6 feet away.
Yeah, that's probably about right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
All right, so mine's not as cool as yours. I mean, I don't know. Eyebrow guru. I've been doing eyebrow microblading and semi-permanent tattooing. And now I do permanent cosmetic tattooing. I do it for scalp too, and I do the eyeliner, but mainly eyebrows. And basically, I just tattoo faces most of the day. I'm actually here in my studio right now. I opened up a new shop like a few months ago, bigger, and have a small team. And I just absolutely love what I do. I also teach a little bit, but it's so time consuming. However, I mean, just my passion for this has grown my book to be booked out for months at a time. I'm able to buy more cryptos, and it gives me so much more freedom to be able to explore other aspects of my life that I love. So it's great. And making a woman look and feel great is literally one of the most rewarding things. And I do guys too. Guys,
awesome. Yeah, I mean, we're still, like I say, a lot of us guys in the UK are still in the dark ages, but maybe we'll get there in a few years' time, right? We'll catch up. Okay, so next question is, what was the first crypto that you bought?
It was actually, it was Bitcoin.
It was Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. Same with me, by the way, because I had to obviously buy the Bitcoin. But okay, so what was your first alt?
It was either XRP or XLM. I feel like they were the same day.
Okay, mine was DGB, so Digibyte. Yeah, I was like,
back then.
Yeah, I went on to, there was an exchange, Poloniex. It's still running now. I think it's owned by, is it owned by Circle, who back the USDC? I think it is the same people, isn't it? I think it's all much of the same thing. But yeah, Digibyte and Sia back in 2017. They were my two first altcoins, same day again. Okay, so first exchange that you used? Coinbase, yeah. Mine was Poloniex. Your biggest crypto mistake?
Oh man, thinking I know what I was doing and like trying to trade during a bull run, and I don't know why, that whenever something's up, like not taking gains, like I would buy it and then I would buy something else because I don't know how to put money aside. Now I do. Now I know when to not get emotionally attached, right? And if I could redo anything, it would have been not hodl XRP, all of it. It would have been keep a trading bag on the side, because I watched it every day and I know when I could trade, like totally, but so now there's so many mistakes.
I think, don't you find that like wisdom comes through error though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we have to get, you know, you've probably learned, you know, with your business, you know, you can, you know, you'll only learn how not to do something or how to do something by not doing it a few times. Like kids putting a hand on a hot stove, you won't do it again when you've done that. So I agree. Mine was similar to you. Mine was like buying in, you know, when you see something 66% up, you know, and you're like, oh, whoa, this is going up forever, I'm going to buy it. So that was one thing in 2017, but also for me to not take those profits. Because I think if I had taken profits in 2017, waited for the pullback, you know, or the crash, whatever you want to call it, all the way back down again, then put back in again and entered again, I would be a crypto millionaire today. There's absolutely no doubt about that. you know, no doubt about it, because a lot of those projects that I was interested in have gone up like 20, 50x from those times. So, you know, that would have been a lot of money.
But that's just it though. Like that's just it. Everything goes up even year after year. And you know, even when we were just in this like crazy bloody market and we look back at what things were the year before, I mean, we're still up. Everything does. I think it's just a lot of patience too.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're in good solid projects, then definitely. Okay, 3 words finally before we just talk about Lumenswap for a couple of minutes. 3 words to describe yourself.
Which one?
You can have 3 words to describe yourself.
Which one of me? No, I'm just messing with you. I am, oh man, I'm just me, I guess. Real, quirky, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to describe myself, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I hit you with that one with a curveball, didn't I? So like you didn't have time to think. Mine would be geeky, impulsive, and rebellious. I'm definitely a rebel.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome. We're gonna get along just fine.
And that's pretty much it, okay, in terms of just a little bit of an introduction. So I think because this is obviously pre-recorded, we're going to send this out. People can get a bit of a feel for us and see what we're about. So just give me a few words just to finish off this this introduction on you know, kind of what your feelings are centered around Lumenswap. You've done some great videos, you've got some great content. People that are watching this can follow you at XRP Jenna, I believe your handle is on Twitter. Find your content there and also across on Clubhouse. But you know, what do you think, you know, the potential, or you know, what do you see as the bonuses with Lumenswap and being involved in Lumenswap?
Well, I think definitely one of the things is I do feel it's a gem. And I have a lot of friends in my community who were interested in Lumenswap before they even knew anything about the rewards. So I don't think that that should be all that people focus on. I think kind of that's an after thing. I do think that it pays to be early with this, and also based on the way the rewards are going to go if you look at it that way. I mean, I would definitely want to be early on this project. I snagged some like right away. I just wish that I did have more. Whenever I was on the Lumenswap website, the thing I noticed, the wallets that are on there are not ones I'm personally familiar with, but how often am I familiar with a wallet until I need it? So I went to go check them all out, and I ended up setting one up with, am I pronouncing this correctly? Freighter?
Yeah.
Okay, so I set that one up. The thing I didn't like about the other ones, and it's just me personally because I'm very paranoid, was the fact that I would need to enter in my private keys. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of know what your thoughts were on that, and what wallets, you know, you like to use, where you're the most comfortable. And also, I use the Brave browser. So I did have to take the shield down and add on the extension for Chrome. So I figured out how to do that and everything. I like Lumenswap website. I just kind of worry, and I think a lot of people do, just to know and get that peace of mind that, all right, this is secure, etc.
Yeah, I think that Rabbit's the go-to wallet for a lot of people. But like you said, setting up that seed phrase at the start there, it's a little bit concerning that you don't, on Freighter, you would kind of set that up. And then with Freighter, the friction point is you have to go through a third party to send. So you have to go through let's get this right, Stellar Term. I think that's right, Stellar Term, where you connect your Freighter wallet to Stellar Term and then you can send asset, which I think is okay, but it's a point of friction, isn't it? You know, if we were using, for example, if we're using MetaMask, which is probably my go as a DeFi ape, you know, I'm using a lot of L2s and I'm using like F. So I just have like different custom RPCs all on MetaMask. So I can have like 10 chains inside one wallet. Brilliant. Or not one wallet, but you get the idea. I can just pull down MetaMask and switch between the different chains. It's clunky to me. And that's the reason Lumenswap are building their own wallet. Yeah. So they're going to build their own wallet with the seed words with the private keys. So they're combining both, because Rabbit doesn't have the seed words, but has your private key. So you can take that wallet and you can, you know, import that wallet elsewhere. But Freighter is probably the better option, but you have to go to third party to send. So it's kind of like, it's a lesser of the two evils, isn't it, really? It's like, yeah, you probably are using arguably one of the best two, depending on which way that you look at, which perspective you look at it. But I think the whole idea that Lumenswap are building out their own Web3 wallet is going to be brilliant, because then it's going to enable us to have our own assets in our own wallet, and then encourage other projects to use that wallet as well. So that's going to bring even more eyes on the project if those other projects are using our wallet for their purposes.
Got it. Can you screen share? Are you comfortable doing that or no?
Yeah.
I do. Okay, because if we pull up on Lumenswap, once you connect your wallet and everything, just to show everyone how to create a pair. Same thing as like entering a contract address, I expect. I'm just really unsure of exactly how to do that properly.
So sorry, you are wanting to create a custom pair, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go across here.
Because I'm a degenerate. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, that's no problem.
I've got a stellar problem.
Okay, if we go into launch app, and then we go into spot, and then we come onto here, and we go on to add custom pair, right? So add custom pair. So we're going to have like the base asset code, so what the code is, and then the asset issuer. Yeah, we're going to need to obviously put in, this is the ticker. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is like basically the small, for those people that don't understand, this is the 3-letter codes that tokens are identified with. And then the base asset is native XLM. So meaning that this is built on, so this is not like you're trying to add Bitcoin here, or you're trying to add ETH. Okay, it has to be, you know, a native token to the Stellar ledger. So what we'll be adding. So for example, here we could be adding Brave, Doggit, these kind of things. This is what we'd be putting in here. The asset issuer, we're going to be able to find through, if we come on to Stellar Expert.
That's okay. I had that pulled up, but I wasn't sure where to find it on there.
Stellar Expert. Yeah.
Stellar.expert for anybody watching.
Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for the, let's just search XXA. Right. So when we look down, one of the tips for you people, if you are new into like kind of doing this, and because there's so many here, you can see there's a lot of scams. You know, one of my passions, as I've already said, is avoiding scams. With the big tokens such as XXA here, right? You're going to notice that they have the biggest amount of funded trust lines and trades. So that's one way, the first way of identifying. We need to ensure that we've got the right URL, that we've got the, you know, a lot of the other details. But the first thing that's going to stand out, I mean, you're not going to look at XXA and see that there's only 7 payments being made. This is not going to be the right one. This one here, 3 payments, 384 payments, blah, 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 as we go down. These are not the right ones. This one here is standing out, having the most trust lines, having the most payments. Okay, so we're going to click onto this asset. And we can see here at the top, issued by, right? We can see it's like this. When we click onto it, this is the asset issuer for XXA. So we've clicked onto this. This is what you will need back across here. Where was I?
The whole contract address.
Yeah, contract address. Where was I? Ah, here. Okay, so when we're adding this in, if we're putting in here XXA, right, then the base. Hang on. So I hadn't copied this. Let's copy this in. You can do this in a variety of different ways. Yeah, this is the way that I normally do it. I always just make sure that I just copy and paste it correctly. But then there are phishing software from scammers that will be able to change, believe it or not, change this information from by the time you've copied it to the time you paste it, if you've got that phishing software on your desktop or on your computer. So you need to be careful you're copying this incorrectly. Same with any address. Be very, very careful. Not so important when you're adding a custom pair, but certainly when you are sending any assets from one place to another. Okay, where was I? It's got so many tabs. I didn't close these down. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, right? And then now we have got, so this is native, right? Then we've got the other one, so the other side of this. So depending on what pair we want to put in, it might be that we're putting in USDC. We're going to put this in and we're going to put the counter asset. So base asset, counter asset, and this will just be the token that you are wanting to trade against. So it might be XLM, XXA. Bearing in mind, if I'm putting this in here, right, if we're using XXA, it's not going to be really a very good base asset because it hasn't got the liquidity. You're going to be wanting to use USDC or XLM as your base asset here. Some people are going to be wanting to trade, I don't know, dog it for LSP, for example. There's not going to be any liquidity until we get AMMs, right? So although I'm showing you how to get the information, you wouldn't put this in here. You would put in, right, this, let's just change this around, in fact. Just so I'm not going to confuse people, right? Don't want to confuse people.
I think crypto is, but you definitely make it less confusing. So thank you.
Let's go back around this one more time. Sorry, add custom pair. Okay, so the base asset, to explain this a little bit better, is going to be the one that is a big player that in terms of liquidity on the network. You don't want to be trying to do, you know, dog it for Brave. There's no liquidity in that pair. You're not going to be able to complete, you know, any kind of order there. Your order will be sat there for weeks because there's no liquidity. Not until we start seeing, you know, the protocol 18 and more liquidity come into the network. So what I would suggest you did here is you put in XLM as your base code, or USDC, or even another one of the tokens that are out there that has a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume. And then your other one, your counter asset, is going to be your LSP, your XXA, or anything like that. But you're going to be able to get the information, which I've just shown you, from your Stellar Expert for the asset issuer, the little ticker, yeah, and then you would just click base. When you put your base in and your counter asset, then you would just click on here, and then that would add that as a custom pairing for you. Some people have asked, does this then show up for everyone? No, that's add a custom pair for you, right? And you only. It's only when Lumenswap team add different assets, okay? So they will add different assets for us to trade against in the future. Bearing in mind, that has to go through a process, because we need to make sure they're not the scam tokens, and the team have the right philosophy, the right outlook before we add any further tokens, because some people are saying, look, there's not very many tokens here for me to trade against. That is going to be happening in the few, you know, in the weeks and the months to come, but we need to be ensuring that we are partnered with the right different cryptos. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. And that's awesome. That's kind of like how Stellar Term was. I remember getting on there a long time ago. I'm like, wow, there's not much here, but it makes you feel confident just because of, you know, what's there is legit. So I definitely respect that about Lumenswap. I really love that.
Yeah, I think we found with the Lobster wallet, haven't we, with how many different Lumen swaps there are, that it can be a real nightmare to try and navigate, especially for new people. And we are really focused on the new people. So, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, we bring the right assets and we bring the right information to you. But with this, in all but a few instances, I would say this is really not going to be the custom asset pairs is not going to be something we would be doing until we get that increased liquidity. So until we can start, you know, getting those trades away, because at the moment, as I said, why would you want to put, your Brave tokens, Dogit, or, your Aqua or whatever it might be, sat there waiting for a buy order and it's just not doing anything? You want to have the liquidity on the dexes, don't you? That's, otherwise it just doesn't work.
There's no point. I've been a millionaire a couple times in my lobster wallet and it means not shit. Like there's no liquidity and you're like, oh, like ouch. But same thing, they'll change, fraudsters will just change one letter. If you're entering in the website, whether it's stronghold.co, they'll change one little thing and literally just the person who doesn't realize it will go there. They'll put their money in, they can't get it out because there's no liquidity. So definitely anytime someone says lobster, I'm like, just don't, because be careful and you're probably going to pick the wrong one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even with the learn and, with the LURN rather than M, when the R and the N are together, it looks like an M. They're very, very clever. And we have to stay one step ahead. And I think what you mentioned earlier about like FOMOing in and, getting hyped up and doing things and, pulling the trigger before you really thought, I think we have to try and educate people to think, there's always going to be another moonshot. There's always going to be another uptick in the market. Just have that little bit of patience, take your time, and, you will reap the rewards. Crypto is going to be around now booming for, the next, 3 to 5 years and more. So you don't have to worry about one trade on one day. We're here for a long period.
Right. No, I love this. And I think slow and steady wins the race with it. It looks like you guys are doing everything right. And I feel really good about Lumenswap. I really do. I love it.
Yeah, I think like, you said at the start with, your bags XLM and you can't, you're very surprised why it isn't, a lot higher. It's being built out. I mean, we only need to look at Pendulum being smart contract built on top of Stellar, and how so smart contracts can interact with the Stellar ledger. And that's been a dead thread, but those guys are building it, so it's not got the socials, it's not got the, the thriving, bustling community, but they are building out, an integral part of what we're going to need and what Stellar needs for the future. So our lending client will be built on top of Pendulum, and, Pendulum's being built out as we speak. So, it is slow and steady and it is doing it the right way. Some people want, like you said, you're a degenerate, and I am too. You want it to ape into projects. Talking of aping in, here's some of my apes.
Oh, I love it.
So there's no bigger ape than myself. But sometimes when we're not looking at these kind of meme coins and we're looking at projects that are trying to build something of value, there's going to be, a time, an incremental build over a period of time. We're just going to need the patience, as you said, lock your bags down, kind of forget about them to a degree, ape into the other stuff that's, going up and down on a daily basis by, 100, 200, 500%, and leave the stuff that's like kind of not really doing a lot for the next 2 to 3 years, because you will reap the rewards. And that's, of course, where generational wealth is created, by you locking down bags, not necessarily selling out big chunks of it, great solid projects over 3 to 5 years. You can create wealth for yourself and the rest of your family very easily in the crypto space.
Absolutely. Okay. So just because I pick up on these things and you kind of release a little gem, and this goes back to how many there are of one token. So Pendulum. As soon as I tuned up, because I know that I have a Pendulum chain in here, but I don't think it's the right one. Which is the correct website address for Pendulum that you're speaking of?
I don't think Pendulum has a token right now. Okay, I don't think that they do. I think that it's pendulumchain.org. This is the one that you want, and this will give you all of the relevant information with regards to Pendulum and what they're doing. They do have a Twitter as well. I mean, we can see down here the socials, you can email them, etc. So if we just click onto their Twitter, we can see they have released some, only got 1,000 followers, but they have released some some great content here with regards to like a blog post that, you know, they're now getting a grant from Stellar for the Pendulum blockchain. So if you read through that, you know, then the people that are watching this, you can get a good understanding of exactly what they're bringing to the table. So Satoshi Pay are like the parent of Pendulum. So they're the ones that are actually in charge of like building this. But it's going to be really interesting how the ecosystem builds out and how all of these different integral pieces of the jigsaw fit together and allow projects and protocols like Lumenswap to build out, you know, there. So it's like a kind of knock-on effect, concertina, you know, to build out their projects on top of this stuff that's being built right now.
This is going to be huge. We're so early and I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's you know, to be, you know, I keep trying to reiterate the point, you know, for us to be in the position where, you know, DeFi has not arrived on Stellar. That's what we have to keep saying to ourselves. We're not there yet, you know, in the way that the big monsters, the ETHs, the BSCs, you know, they're crushing it in the DeFi world. They've got lending protocols, you know, self-paying loans, all of this crazy stuff that's going on with stable coins, algorithmic stable coins, etc. You know, we're yet to even really, I mean, we're at the stage of drawing the actual architect drawings or whatever of the boat.
That's great. Things take time.
Yeah. And when we built the boat, which is going to be built, you know, in the next few months, then we get to set sail in Q4. And then we get to have all of these cool things we're talking about now. So we're right at grassroots level. You know, even the chain that is providing the smart contract interoperability and all that sort of stuff, you know, that's being developed. It doesn't even exist. It's not like we have, like, you know, Ethereum where you can build smart contracts, ERC20 tokens, etc., on the Ethereum virtual machine as part of their code. We don't have that. So we are like, you know, like when I say early, there's early. I mean, we're like, you know, 5 hours early to the party.
I love it. And you know what, though? Anyone throws like any bad vibes with it, I can't wait to melt their face. Like every project starts somewhere, but yeah, greatness takes time. I'm so stoked.
And also, finally, Jen, just one for you. I think that, you know, Lumenswap is about unity. When I spoke to, one of the reasons I wanted to get involved in the project is I want to work with people who have this, share the same philosophy on life and, you know, trying to give to others, trying to help those less fortunate, etc. And when I spoke to the team at Lumenswap, you know, they're driven by unity within Stellar projects, you know, not falling out, not my cock's bigger than yours kind of thing, you know, that you see in a lot of these projects. It's about, okay, how can we elevate you? Because by elevating you, we can also be elevated. And, you know, the people that are out there and they're really promoting people hard, you know, they're not talking about themselves, they're promoting others hard. They will then reap the benefits. And I think that's what, you know, we kind of have that as a philosophy, which is to build out a network of different trustworthy, legitimate projects on Stellar. And we can be part of that, not the hub, but part of that community. Very much like you said about, you know, the kind of XLM and the Algo and XRP, etc. You know, having that network of projects that are all interlinked with each other. We want to do the same, but on a minor scale within Stellar. And I think there's a massive space for us to move into with that. So it's very, very exciting. I agree.
I was just trying to see if I could get you to like make a face or like bust up laugh. I'm still on the guard thing.
I knew, you see, it's been like that many years. Yeah, it's been this many years since I was in the Guards. But, you know, now I thought, look, I'm speaking to you know, a US friend. So I know what's going to be coming. As soon as I say this Guard thing, their brains are like, he was in the Guard. No, I must make him laugh.
It hasn't stopped yet. I'm going to randomly pop out just with like random shit just to see if I get you a bust up, crack and smile. Okay. Like you have no idea what's going to happen. I just need you to know.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen as well? I've got a very sneaking suspicion that on Telegram and Twitter, there's going to be pictures of, or there's going to be memes of these guards, isn't there? Just popping up with me.
Oh my God, you're so memes. Yes. Yes, you opened this one up.
I know, I'm never going to live this down now. I should never have said anything.
Oh my God. I love it.
Anyway, I know that you've got your daughter to take to school. It's been amazing talking to you. I'm really looking forward to what we can share with the community. I've got some cool NFTs that are being worked on at the moment as well for the Lumenswap, because I'm going to give them away. I'm going to give some of my my team LSP tokens away every month as well to random people that are listening in. We'll move this to a live show so that people can ask us questions and they can kind of like do, you know, little bits of explainers like we've just shown there and do some screen shares. Yeah, so I'm thrilled. It's great being, you know, fantastic talking to you, and I look forward to a bright future, Jen.
Me too. Thanks. Have a good one.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.